So solving for angles, let's see if we get us a little closer here. Angles. And you have to make sure to pay very close attention to what it tells you these figures are. These are all quadrilaterals. So we're just starting with basic quadrilaterals. So they don't have specific finite rules such as like a square with 4 angles or 90 degrees. It's just quadrilateral. So four-sided figure with your angle measure. And hopefully by now you've remembered that quadrilaterals are all equal to 360. So all four of these are going to equal 360 degrees. If you cut this bad boy apart and you were to glue all the vertexes side by side by side, it would make a full circle. Like if we were to cut out like this, it does make a true 360 degree circle. So at that rate, since they're this simple with just numbers in their place, we're going to take 100 plus 120 plus 64. So 220 plus 64, we get 284. And that means 284 of the 360 has been used. So we're going to subtract that from 360. And so that means this leftover angle has to be 76 degrees. Has to be 76 degrees because all four angles are going to equal 360. So same thing here. Again, it's a quadrilateral. So I have 75, 95, 105, and then an unknown. So algebraically, that means it would look like this. It's going to equal 360, and it's just like solving equations, but most of you are going to work this way better. So kind of working the math, what you guys like to call in your head. It's the same math. It just looks different, I guess. So 275, so this will be 275 plus x equals 360. We're going to take 360, subtract 275. And that means our leftover angle is 85. And you would just subtract 275 from 360 over here as well, and you would have gotten 85. So that's when you're given the angles, and it is a quadrilateral. So that just means it's a four-sided figure. Just a four-sided figure. All right, so getting down here for some x, some solving for x. This is when it's important to understand the algebraic portion that I was showing you just a minute ago, because you can't just add these together quite as easily. So 89 plus 105 plus 61 plus 106 x minus 1 equals 360. You may also still do these three in a vertical fashion or in your calculator or however you want to do it in your head, but they're still going to be added together. So that's 255 plus 106x minus 1, and we need it to equal to 360 because we're solving for x. So 255 minus 1, that is at 254. And that's just cleaning up on one side before we get to moving things around. I want that x by itself. So I'm going to subtract 254 from both sides. So 360 minus 254 gives me 106. So 106x equals 106. And remember, 106x is the same thing as 106 times x. So the inverse of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 106. And x equals 1. Now, when you added these together, 255, then we know that from 360 alone, 254 from 360 gives me 106. So that means this has to equal what we need left over to make that all work. So if we plug it in, so 106 times 1 minus 1, that means this is 105. So 89 plus 105 plus 105 plus 61. 105, whoops, sorry. 89 plus 105 plus 105 plus 61 equals 360. So you can always go back and check as well. So knowing that this one, 18, this is all four 90-degree angles, so we know this is either a square or a rectangle, but it doesn't really matter because right now it's a quadrilateral, four-sided figure. We know this is 90, this is 90, this is 90. So 3 90s is 270. 360 minus 270 is going to give me 90. That's also how this has to work. Hopefully you saw it. Anyway, so you can set it all together. 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus this equals 360. Or since we know this is going to equal 90, we can do 19x minus 5 equals 90 because smaller numbers are a little more user-friendly. So 19x equals 95. Divide both sides by 19. And that means x is going to equal 5. Now, again, make sure the question is asking you to solve for x. You are going to come across questions that you solve for x, and then from there, they want you to plug it back in and give the answer for the angle or give the answer for the side. At that rate, that is you making sure. If it is multiple choice, that x value is going to be there. And if it's not C, I'd be very surprised because they know that's where you're going to jump and how you're going to get excited. So when they ask for like measure of angle G, you're doing the same math. You're just going to have to plug back in. So in this case, I have 4. I have 2 of them that are a mess. So it's 115 plus 80. And I just put those together because that's going to be a nice, neat number. Plus 7x plus 10 plus 7x plus 15 equals, we know it's going to be 360 when we're done. I just ran out of space. So we're going to clean up what we can. So our like terms on one side. So 115, 80, 10, and 15 can all be added together. So 115 plus 80 plus 10 plus 15 gives me 220. And then I have the 7x and the 7x. So like terms again on this side. So we're cleaning up. 7x plus 7x is 14x. And all of this is going to be equal to 360. So since we are solving for x, we're going to subtract 220 from both sides. So 360 minus 220. It's going to give me 140. So I have 14x equals 140. 14x is multiplication. So the inverse of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide. And then x is going to equal 10. Now, this says what is the measure of angle G? So is x indeed 10? Yes. If you put 10, the answer is wrong. Because measure of angle G is 7x plus 15. So we're going to take our 10 over there and plug it in. So 70 plus 15 is going to give me 85. And 85 is a far cry from 10 for your final answer. So again, that's just making sure you're reading, doing the math exactly the same, but reading what is it that they are actually asking for. All right, so that is the angles without diagonals. Hang in there for the next video, guys.